Hi, I'm Ryan Hamill, and I'm the System Culinary Manager with Sodexo and University Hospitals.
I'm Anthony Verona. I'm the Culinary Director with Sodexo and UH. Welcome.
Welcome to Culinary Foundations Training. Today, we're going to be talking about the stir-fry method.
What's the difference between stir-frying and sauteing, Ryan?
That's a great question, Chef Tony. Stir-fry is a process, whereas saute is a technique. And stir-fry does use sauteing techniques in order to kind of create this whole dish. So we're going to be cooking with high heat. We're going to be searing and moving product very quickly, but some important components of a stir-fry we'll talk about through the process here. Speaking of process, we've got some mise en place.
Ooh, what's
Chef
mise en
Tony, you want
place?
to go over mise en place? And
Sure,
talk about our ingredients?
mise en place, everything in its place, and every place has its thing. So anytime you stir frying, you want all your ingredients ready to go. If you're sauteing mushrooms or carrots or whatever, and you forget to cut your red pepper, when you got to run and cut your red pepper, now your stuff's going to either overcook, you got to shut it off, it's just not the right way to do it. So we want to make sure we have all of our ingredients in front of us, which we do.
Absolutely. And what kind of ingredients do we have today, Chef?
Well, look at all these beautiful vegetables. We have some asparagus, which is in spring, some mushrooms, carrots, some squashes, snow peas, beautifully red, thinly sliced beef, and then we have our aromatics.
Aromatics. What's that about, Chef?
GGG, green onion, ginger, and garlic, the mainstay of any type of stir fry. Those are kind of the aromatics. Almost you would imagine as like in the onion family, it's kind of an aromatic. An onion would be aromatic as well. So these are all kind of in that family, and it is exactly what it sounds like, aromatics. You're not going to be able to smell it on TV, but when we saute that GGG, it's going to smell great in this place.
Yeah, we're going to use it to add some flavor and depth to the dish. We've got everything cut nice and fine julienne. It's important because we're going to cook everything quickly. We didn't blanch anything ahead of time.
Nope.
It's all going to get cooked in the pan. And we want to use some batch cooking methods here too. Chef, why is batch cooking important here?
Well, you don't want to overcrowd your pan, right? If you notice today we're using a medium-sized pan. We're going to actually make one serving in here, and that's the suggestion for a pan like this. If you want to make a bigger batch, you need a bigger pan. If you're in the commercial industry or the food service industry, you might use a big roasting pan or something like that.
Tilt skillet, yeah.
Yep, but for now we're just going to make one portion, and we're going to show you that here in a minute.
Right.
The wok.
And we want to batch everything, that way it cooks quickly and doesn't steam. We want good caramelization on the veggies and the meat here. You said you have a wok here.
Yep, the wok, which I've got preheated here. I'm just going to take this off, but we definitely want to have the wok. And what's the difference between a wok and a saute pan? It's pretty obvious, but the saute pan's nice and low. The wok is intended to have metal up the side so it retains the heat. And this is a decent sized wok. We're also going to use some neutral oil. We're going to talk about smoke point today because we want to get that temperature up high, but we don't want to use an oil like olive oil or extra virgin olive oil or an olive oil that has a low smoke point. So 425 is typically the smoke point you're looking for. And how can you tell at 425? I don't know what temperature is. I have a thermometer here, but I'm not going to temp it. You want to get down and look at little wisps of smoke coming off. And as soon as you see a little bit of smoke coming off, then you know it's at 425. If you're using a extra virgin olive oil, that smoke
lower,
might come up, but you're not at 425 because some of those impurities in there are burning off. So we're going to use a neutral oil with a high smoke point. Today we're going to use avocado oil.
Excellent, excellent. Well, and the wok here, another important aspect of it is it's got those nice high sides, as Chef Tony was saying. It's going to create more surface area so that we can cook things a lot quicker and a lot more evenly, right?
Yep.
If you had an electric stove, you might want to use a flat bottom saute pan to create more surface area. We have nice high heat and gas here, so this is the method that we're going to go with. Chef, are we ready to get going here?
Yeah, I think so. A couple things I just want to point out. We can use tofu, chicken, any type of protein, or just go vegetarian if we want. The other thing I want to mention is it's real important is, the vegetables are full of water, right? And we talked about high heat, and that's going to help reduce the amount of steam that comes off, because once water starts coming off of the vegetables, imagine this. When water comes off and it starts to boiling, we all know that boiled water is at 212 degrees. So if you see boiling water, you're never going to be above 212 degrees. So we want a high heat to where when we add the vegetables in there, that water, when it comes out, it immediately evaporates. We are going to have a little bit of moisture in there, so we really want a really thick sauce. And we made this sauce earlier, and I know it looks kind of thick, but once we add it to our vegetables, it's going to be the perfect consistency. So having a thicker sauce is really nice. I really like to make my own sauce too. We can keep our sodium levels at the proper, add what we want. Some of those bot ingredients are full of stuff that we're not looking for. So we are ready for the process. The first process we talked before is to heat up your pan. So we're gonna give that just a couple minutes. It's been on there a few minutes already, so we're almost there. Here's our neutral oil. This is, again, avocado oil. So we're gonna just kind of, it's looking pretty hot, and the great thing I can feel that heat coming around the sides of the pan, and it's heating up the sides of the pan. So our wok is getting nice and hot. And now we're gonna add our oil, and we're gonna just add a little bit of oil. And now what we wanna do with the beef, so I'm giving that just a minute. And what do you see in there,
It's nice and shimmery, Chef.
Shimmering, yeah, yep, shimmering. Our beef is dry. That's important. We don't want to marinate on our beef because we want it to sear. So we're going to add this in one layer. We don't want to add a ton in there at one time. And we're going to add about 2 to 3 ounces of meat. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm just gently adding some in there at one layer. And what you're going to notice here is you're going to get some beautiful color. And I don't want to touch this right now. I want to leave it. If I start moving it, some of that moisture is going to come out. I might tip it over a little bit just to get some of that oil dispersed evenly. And at some point, when I see some nice caramelization coming around the edges, I'm going to then start stir frying it. And you notice right now I didn't add anything else. I didn't add any salt. I didn't add any pepper. So we're just going to keep that going, and I can see, Chef Ryan, it's looking like it's getting pretty.
Yeah, for sure. It's getting nice and brown around the edges. You can see that the beef is just about ready to turn. It should be browning on the bottom side too.
Yep, and the thing you're noticing too is there's no moisture coming out. It's just kind of stir frying in the oil. So I'm going to give that a nice stir fry, and that's kind of what we're looking for. And really, that's going to be it. I'm going to take the beef out. Got some nice color. I'm going to put that back on. I'm going to take a towel and I'm just going to wipe that clean. And this is, for the people out there, if you're doing an action station, this is how you would typically do it. So we're going to put that back on. Now we're going to add our oil, a little bit more.
And now we're going to get it shimmering again, and this is where we're going to add our aromatics to season the oil. The
great thing about, again, having your mise en place is that I notice right now that oil is just a little hot, so I pulled it off the side, right? I'm going to put my GGG in there, and if I notice it's starting to brown too quick, I'm going to start adding some vegetables. And what's that going to do? That's going to cool the pan down just a tad, just enough so we don't burn our GGG.
So some diced ginger, some minced ginger there, a little bit of minced garlic.
Yep.
It's not like a paste like we would do in some other dishes. It's nice mince, so it takes a little longer to cook. It doesn't brown up too quickly.
And typically, I like to add the white part of the onion, the green onion, in there, and then we'll add the green part at the end
to finish it.
Yep.
I like that nice fresh pop of onion at the end.
Yep.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Keep it moving.
We're gonna add a few vegetables now. And I'm not adding a ton. We got a lot of vegetables to stir fry here. So I'm keeping this moving. You can see what I'm doing. I'm moving the pan, but I'm also
shaking and stirring.
Shaking and stirring at the same time. I added some mushrooms, so just a tad bit more oil.
The mushrooms actually soak up the oil pretty quickly, and it might prohibit it from browning. Just add a little bit more help to go along. And the carrots come in next, and the asparagus, because they take a little bit longer to cook than the squash and the snow peas. We're adding things in stages so that everything gets finished at the same time.
Remember what we talked about? Can you explain the crisp tender a little bit more?
Yeah, so we want our vegetables, sometimes we might blanch vegetables ahead of time in some other dishes. Here, we're cooking them raw because we want them to have some texture to them. We want to cook them just to the peak of their color. You're going to see the asparagus is going to get really nice and bright green. You still want to have a little crunch there. Varying textures throughout the dish allows us to kind of cook a really healthy, quick dish here.
And you can see I'm not overloading that pan. People have the tendency to add a ton of vegetables in there when it's really not necessary.
And if you do it in batches like this, you can cook a lot quickly by doing batches, right?
So I'm getting some good color on there, which we want, but not too much color. Now I'm going to add my beef back in. There's going to be a little residual of the juices in there, which we're looking for, and that's going to help. Now at this point, we can add a little bit of moisture into it to kind of help steam those vegetables through.
Yeah, we've got our caramelization already, and this is going to help them cook.
And you can see right now, I don't know if you can see that, but they are definitely crisp tender.
Wow.
We're going to give that just another minute or two, more like 30 or 40 seconds. And at no point have you seen any water or moisture come off. It's all been evaporated, which is exactly what we're looking for.
We're still over a nice high flame here.
You can see that flame flaming up is really what we're looking for. Now at this point, I'm going to add my sauce. Just a little bit. Remember, a little bit goes a long way.
That smells incredible.
Yeah.
You really smell the ginger and the garlic and the scallions and then everything in the sauce as well.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing you notice about this, since that sauce was nice and thick, it's not all soupy and saucy. It's just coating the vegetables and the meat is what we're looking for.
It's not swimming in the sauce.
It's not swimming in the sauce.
Right.
That's right. And I know sometimes when you go to restaurants, you get it and it's just all...
No, we want to taste the veggies mistake, right?
Yep.
Good.
So that's it. That's done. That's it.
Kill the heat?
Yep, I killed the heat. What do you think some of the issues are with stir frying?
Yeah, no, some things I see are vegetables burn very quickly. What might cause that, Chef? Like the aromatics if we brown them too quickly.
Well, I think the temperature, obviously, and then the consistency of the cuts would probably have a lot to do with it.
What if they're maybe like overcooked or raw or overdone? What are some things that we could do to
You might have overcrowded the pan.
Oh,
You
that's
might
a good
have
call.
added too many portions to the pan. You're not cooking in batches, maybe.
Yeah, it's important to layer everything. You want to have a single even layer of all the vegetables, right? It's not, we're not just dumping a whole case of mushrooms in here at a time to cook them down.
Yep.
It will cook a lot quicker if you do this method.
Yep, they sure will.
If everything's splattering too much, maybe we didn't dry off our vegetables enough. You can see everything here is very fresh.
Fresh and dry, that's very important. It's not dry as in like a cake's dry. It's dry as in there's just not a lot of moisture in there, which is really what we're looking for. The other thing I want y'all to notice is that once I turned off the heat, what happened to that sauce is it released a little bit more liquid from the vegetables, and now it's making a beautifully glazed sauce. So here we go. We're gonna plate this up real quick. We got some white rice in here. You could do stir-fried rice, you can do brown rice, you could do quinoa, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Me personally, again, portions are, you want about 4 ounces of rice, which we got here. And I don't like to cover everything up, so I want to be able to show it. I don't want to just throw this over the rice and not see anything, so I'm going to just kind of drape it over the rice so you can see some of the rice, see some of the vegetables. I see those mushrooms are beautifully browned.
Yeah, Chef, that looks great. And the beef has a nice sear on it, right? Because we didn't overcrowd the pan when we were searing the beef. You can see good caramelization on the beef.
I mean, it's pretty simple, actually. The key points to any stir frying: mise en place.
Everything in its place, the place for everything. Have everything set out in front of you. You got your utensils, you got your pan, you have your aromatics. What are the aromatics again, Chef?
GGG.
GGG.
Green onion, ginger, and garlic.
We've got all our veggies prepped ahead of us and everything's sliced thin so it cooks very quickly, right?
Yep.
Good. Also, we talked about the difference between a wok and maybe using a saute pan.
Yep.
When it's appropriate to use the wok versus saute pan.
Yep.
And then the smoke point of the oil. What kind of oil did we use again today?
Avocado oil, very high. One of the highest smoke point of any oil.
Chef, why not sesame seed oil? If I wanted to put sesame seed oil in here, when would I do it?
At the very end.
Yeah, just to season a little bit,
Kind of
right?
like you would olive oil.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, good,
At
good.
the very end.
Yeah, and crisp, tender vegetables, right?
Exactly.
Anything else you want to add, Chef?
No. Hope you guys learned something and make this in your unit.
Thank you.